Hello, my lovelies! It's Susanna, and today I want to show you how to calculate percentages in your head. We go through these 6 examples together, so let's start with the first one. 20% of $360. There are several ways how to calculate this. You can tell me your favorite way in the comments if you want to. I show you a way using fractions now. I know fractions are usually not the most popular thing to use, but it's not that difficult. So we take the 20% and write it as a fraction. 20 is the number we take, and percent stands for divide by 100. So percent is percent. And now we just have to multiply this fraction by the number here. So just multiply it by $360. And this is all we have to calculate. We want to multiply this fraction by this number. We can do it by just multiplying the 20 by this number. So 20 times $360, and then divide it by the 100. And now the more zeros you have, the better, because we can cancel out the zeros. This is 0 by this, and this here by this. And the only thing we have to do is multiply 2 by $36, which equals $72. And in the denominator, we just have the 1, and we can leave it out. So this is our result. Of course, we can do all these steps here in our head. So if you take a look at your numbers, and if you see 2 zeros, that's the best case. So 1 0 here, 1 0 here. We now know that we can cancel out 2 zeros by this percent sign. And then we only have to multiply the rest. So 2 times $36, which equals $72. So it's a pretty fast way of doing this. Also here, 18% of 400 meters, we have 2 zeros. We know we can cancel these 2 zeros by this percent sign, and then we just multiply these two numbers. So 4 times 18, we can do 4 times 10 if we can't do it immediately, and then 4 times 8, and then we have 40 and 32, and if we add these two, we get a result of 72 meters here. So it's all good if you have 2 zeros. Of course, the next example, we don't have any zeros here, so we use fractions again. 4% of 7 kilogram. We take the 4% and write it as 4 over 100, and then we multiply it by our 7 kilogram. Now let's write it as one fraction, so we have 4 times 7 kilogram and divide this by 100. 4 times 7 equals 28, so we only have to divide 28 by 100. We can do this by taking the 28 and moving the decimal point. So the decimal point is here after the number, and because we have 2 zeros here, we just move our decimal point 2 steps, so 1 step, second step, so our decimal point is going to be here. We fill it up with zeros, so we have 0.28 kilogram as a result. Number 4. This method also works if we have more than 100%. So we take a look at our numbers. We have zeros here. We cancel 2 of them out with the percent sign and just multiply the other 2 numbers. So we have 107 multiplied by $12. 12 times 107. We can do 10 times first, and then the rest, so 2 times the 107. 10 times means we add a 0 at the end, and 2 times this is 214. Now we just add these 2 numbers. We have a 4 here, an 8, a 2, and a 1. So this is our result of this example. Number 5. Yeah, this time the numbers are not so nice anymore, but I want to show you a different method here, because you can always take this number here and instead of calculating 52% immediately, you can split this number into 2 easier numbers. So you can say, I first calculate 50% of this, and then the rest, so the 2%. You do your calculations, and at the end, you add the results. So 50% of this number just means take half of it. So take this number and divide it by 2, which equals 625 meters. Okay, we have our first results. And then the 2%, we can do this again with our fraction method. So write the 2% as 2 over 100 and multiply it by our number. We can cancel out one of the zeros, but then we have 2 times 125 meters, which equals 250 meters. And then we have to divide it by 10, but it's not too bad. We can cancel out the 0 now and get a result of 25 meters. So now we have to add these two to get the final result of 650 meters. And in the last example, I want to show you something interesting. I don't know if you knew that, but you can always just switch these two numbers. So instead of calculating 19% of $50, which is something like, ooh, I don't know, I don't know how to do that, you can just do 50% of $19, which is so much easier because you just take half of $19, which is $9.50, and then you have your result. I hope it helped you. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. I wish you a wonderful day, and I hope to see you in one of my next videos. Take care.